Hello guys, welcome back to Total Extreme Wrestling 2013 TNA. This is Ben, and I am booking the Impact following Against All Odds. If you haven't watched that episode, I suggest you go back and watch episode 4, part 1, because that has some very important elements to the storylines that you should probably watch if you've watched the other videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to watching after I show you my last rating on Spike, which was a 3.35, which was up last week, so that's good. Let's run the show, guys. Starting off, we got a terrible match. A 22. And about that, had solid in-ring action, but non-existent crowd heat. Zack Sabre Jr. defeated Manic in 6-12 by submission. The crowd were totally turned off by having a match between jobbers on the show. I just want to get Sabre over so we can use him eventually. Next, in a great match, in a match that has good action but not much in the way of heat, the Hardys defeated London and Kendrick in 12 minutes, 4 seconds, where Jeff Hardy defeated Paul London by pinfall with an extreme combination. Both teams showed excellent chemistry teaming together, that's great. And lots of skill improvements, so that's even better. 72 rating. Probably should have put that on the show. In a match that had some good action but not much in the way of heat, James Storm defeated Mr. Anderson in 13 minutes, 17 seconds by pinfall. No specific comments. Mr. Anderson is improving your rumble skills. Not a great match in terms of rating, but it's a pre-show. And then in a battle royal, in a match that had some good action but not much in the way of heat, Bram won a battle royal in 16 minutes, 56 seconds. The other members of the Final Four were Abyss, Lashley, and Magnus, with Abyss being the final elimination. Abyss got the most eliminations over the course of the match. Lots of people lost their games. That's not good. Decent amount of performing and improvement, so that's good. Start to show off with the usual Pyro, where Jim Ross and Mike Tenay hype the expected impacts, the likes of Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett, Drew Galloway, MVP Ethan Carter III, and Austin Aries are likely to have. Bobby Roode comes down to the ring. He takes the microphone and starts talking to the crowd before eventually getting interrupted by John Hennigan, who is the new TNA World Heavyweight Champion. They have a big argument going back and forth on the microphone, basically saying Bobby Roode wants his rematch because Hennigan won it by dubious means, of course. Before things take a violent turn and they start brawling, a whole host of staff hit the ring to break them up. As they are pulled apart, it is clear a match is going to take place between them. That's going to happen at Lockdown inside a steel cage for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. That got a 78. That's a great way to open the show after the usual hyping of the announcers. And then in a match that had some good action and average heat, that's nice. Ethan Carter III and Drew Galloway defeated Austin Aries and MVP in 15 minutes, 27 seconds. When Ethan Carter III defeated MVP by pinfall with a headlock driver following interference from Tyrus. As usual, EC3 and Tyrus are a good pairing and they play off each other well. That's a decent rating for the match of 71. I'm happy with that. Then next, in a match that had some good action but non-existent crowd heat, Sanjay Dutt defeated Kamara in 10 minutes, 5 seconds by pinfall with a Hindu press. Sanjay Dutt has debuted his highlight reel gimmick. It's got an initial 84 rating. It's not the greatest, but it's just being used for the X Division title right now. Don't expect much from him after it, so it's alright for now. And then Sanjay Dutt is celebrating his victory in the ring, and he is now the new #1 contender for the X Division title. Suddenly, the great Sonata swoops in from behind and kicks Sanjay Dutt to the mat. As Sanjay Dutt rises to his feet, the great Sonata rears back, shoots a clawed fist into the air, and then spews a blast of mist into Sanjay Dutt's face. As soon as Sanjay Dutt rolls around on the mat, screaming in agony, the great Sonata bids a hasty retreat. So basically, the great Sonata is pulling stuff out of classic Japanese wrestlers who come to America, like the great Muta, the great Kabuki, Tajiri, and Tensai. They always use the green poison mist thing, so I'm going to keep having that be Sonata's gimmick like thing. And then next we see Bram in the ring. Bram calls out Magnus and challenges him to a match at Lockdown. However, Magnus doesn't respond and Bram is left unanswered because so far there's been 2 matches between Bram and Magnus has won one by dubious means, and Bram has won another one, which was a clean victory. So Bram is like, I beat you. We each have 1 win over each other. Let's settle the score at Lockdown. And Magnus does not come out and answer the challenge. And then in an extremely short match, Samoa Joe defeated Tigre Uno in 4 minutes 31 seconds by pinfall with a muscle buster that got a 58. Didn't expect much from this match. Tigre Uno seemed off his game tonight. Tigre Uno is improving in performance skills, so that's nice. Then we have in about that solid in-ring action, but not much in the way of heat. Eve Torres defeated Terrell in 7 minutes 42 by pinfall with a handspring moonsault. John Hennigan did some good work at ringside. John Hennigan is Eve's manager because they're kind of a couple in this Let's Play right here. And then next we get a terrible debut by Kaitlyn. Eve Torres is celebrating her victory in the ring. Kaitlyn runs in and attacks, beating Eve Torres down into the mat. Basically, Eve and Kaitlyn had a rivalry back in WWE, and this is kind of a renewal of the rivalry, so very disappointed in Kaitlyn's gimmick rating. But what can you do? You just have to see what we can do to improve that rating eventually. Segment got a 53. And then next, Samoa Joe attacks Eric Young from behind and starts beating the crap out of him. After what seems an eternity, Eric Young is left bloodied and beaten. That got a 73 rating. That's great. So I'm assuming these two are going to have good matches. It's the next feud for Joe, trying to build up his momentum to maybe making him a heavyweight champion or something else. And then in a 3-way tag match for the #1 contendership for the TNA World Tag Team Championship match. In a match that was good action, but not much in the way of heat, the Romans defeated Team 3D and Generation Me in 13 minutes 5 seconds when Jesse defeated Brother Ray by pinfall with a stunner. Okay then, he has a stunner, that's great. DJZ did some good work at ringside. All the tag teams displayed great chemistry. Jim Ross and Davey Richards have pretty good chemistry when calling matches together. I had Davey Richards on the announcer's table to continue this storyline. No worker improvements. I got a 62. That's not the greatest rating. And then next, this is great. Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle are in the ring talking about how good they are, hyping up their upcoming match against Jarrett and Hennigan, which is the main event for tonight. It's nice. I got an 80. Hoping the match does well. The match does great. That's really nice. And about that featured great action and an average heat. Jeff Jarrett and John Hennigan defeated Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle in 15 minutes 36 seconds when John Hennigan defeated Kurt Angle by pinfall illegally using the ropes for leverage. Bobby Roode and Kurt Angle have great chemistry when teaming together. That's nice. I already knew that from the first month when I had them team up together to face Jarrett and Galloway, but it's nice to see. And again, is improving in Rumble and Technical, so seems to be the show, I think. Yes. Good rating. Decreased our popularity in the tri-state region, but increased it in 22 regions. So I'm going to pause this recording and continue it whenever we get to the home screen.